welcome to Revelations of a Delusional Knitter. This is episode 97. It is Monday. I still never know what day it is. July 14th, 2014. I usually know the date. I just don't know what day of the week it is. And I am Angela, your host. Updates and housekeeping. Welcome if you are new. If you are returning, I thank you as always. Either way, I hope you enjoy and continue to watch. If you use iTunes, if you could please leave a star rating and or review, I would appreciate it. And now the show is also on YouTube, so you can subscribe there and leave comments. It's also on the website, delusionalknitter.com. And there's a Ravelry group, so come and join the Ravelry group if you're a member of Ravelry. I don't know who's not nowadays. Week in review, work schedule. So one of the dispatchers is out on FMLA and for 2 months, and I took over his spot while he's out. So I've been working the 11 to 7 shift, which for the most part is great because it's usually pretty quiet. It's usually busy from 11 till 1, and then it's really quiet after that. But the last day that I worked for this week was horrendous. It was a Saturday night. We had crazy call after crazy call, and like officers were tied up. We had to call. Luckily, we have a state university in the city, so we can call campus police if we have to. We can also call state police, but campus is right down the street, so campus police had to help us out a little bit. And it was just nuts. Just nuts. Because they weren't calls, you know, like loud music complaints or somebody broke into my car last night and I just noticed now. Those can wait. Screaming people, fighting people, things like that cannot wait. So, yeah, it was crazy. Car accident, telephone pole cracked in half. Yeah, it was nuts. That's not even all the big calls we had. It was crazy. We went yesterday to see How to Train Your Dragon 2, because that's one of my favorites. Toothless is one of my all-time favorite characters. And it was awesome. I'm not even sure. I think I might even like it more than the first one. It's really close. I can't really say actually, but it was excellent. Today is my day off. Technically yesterday was too, but it doesn't feel like a day off because I work 11 to 7. So I didn't work last night, but I still worked that morning. Does not feel like a day off to me. Today, I didn't work last night. I'm not working tonight. That really is the only one that feels like a day off to me. Tomorrow night, I will go to work at 11. So it really only feels like one day off to me, even though it's technically 2. It does not feel like 2. Yesterday, too, my sleep was horrendous. I came home, I slept for like an hour, and then I woke up and I couldn't go back to sleep, so I got up for a couple hours, and then I tried taking a nap, and something happened with the TV. I was on the couch in the living room, and I put on Harry Potter. There was like a Harry Potter marathon, so I put that on, because it's good background noise. And something happened. My husband was watching or taping the wild brain fart, the World Cup, soccer, football, whatever. And I think when it finished recording, it went back to that channel or something, because all of a sudden it was a soccer match and everybody was screaming, and I woke up. So I got up for another couple hours. Then I tried going to bed when he did at like 9:30. I fell asleep for like an hour, woke up again, got up, had a snack, watched TV, went back to bed at like midnight or 12:30, and then I slept for the whole night, so that was good. Except that I'm really not supposed to be sleeping all night because that's when I'm working. I don't know, whatever. So, that's that. And today, my day off, I ran out and ran some errands. I went to Joann's, and I was pleasantly surprised with what I found. What I went to Joann's for is that I have dyed up a bunch of yarn. I showed you some on the last episode. I'll show you some more today. It's very difficult to photograph items to post online for sale. If you use a white background, contrast is sometimes an issue with the camera, and colors are an issue with the camera. So I wanted to pick up some fabric that was gray, because I figured that wouldn't mess with the colors, and have some texture to it so that it would alleviate the high contrast issues with the camera. I found the best fabric ever. It's gray, and it's knit stitches. How perfect is that? So that's the fabric I picked up for taking pictures of yarn for Etsy. So that was awesome, and I was super happy with that. Then I also wanted to get some fabric for tutorials, because when I do tutorials on spinning or knitting or something, I like to have a backdrop. In the past I've used like an extra sheet that we have in the closet, but it's really kind of a pain, and then I feel like the sheet's dirty now because I dragged it on the floor and did all kinds of stuff with it. So I really just wanted some plus it's too big. It really doesn't need to be that big. So I wanted some fabric for a backdrop, and I found one that's pretty good, and I'm happy with it. So I got 2 yards of this one so that I had more, and it's just a nice muted background. And that way I feel like, because this room is so small, and I'm sure you can see behind me, I have like bookcases of yarn. My spinning wheels are over there, that other desk is back there. It's very distracting, I think, if I'm trying to show a spinning technique or something like that. I think it's very distracting to have a bunch of colorful stuff in the background. So I got fabric for a backdrop. Happy about that. So that was awesome. I also got, I'll show it later in spinning because I have a bunch of stuff on top of it right now. I was looking for storage for my support spindles, and I found something perfect. So I will show you that later. And I think that's it for week in review. I really haven't done anything else. Most exciting thing we did was go to the movies. For revelations, I have no knitting. None. Because it's July and it's Tour de Fleece. So I have not done any knitting. The master's program is on hold. Ravello, the sweater, is on hold. I haven't picked up the socks again. The socks, I'm thinking I should probably start bringing to work with me, because on that shift it's quiet for a while and I have time to knit. The only reason I haven't brought any knitting or spinning with me to work yet is because I do so much at home. That's really too much, because I often suffer from repetitive motion injuries to my shoulder and this wrist, and that would just give me an excuse to do way too much. Plus I can bring my Kindle, so I get a lot of reading done at work, and we're also allowed to watch TV when it's quiet. As long as we do everything we're supposed to do, they don't have any problem with us doing other stuff, because honestly, some nights it's quiet for like 4 hours. Like, what do you want us to do? So they're fine with that. String theory, so spinning, I got a lot done. I finished one skein already, which is small, because it was just a small bat. It was a 1.5 ounce bat. That was, I have terrible show notes today, by the way, so I'm probably going to go, and I don't know a lot. It was Merino, Corriedale, Finn, and Rambouillet. That's what it was. So as far as I can tell, the only Merino are the colored bits. Those little pops of color in there is what is the Merino. Just from feel and texture and staple length, I can tell. And what I found was, I had started spinning this bat on a supported spindle. It's really not the right fiber, and it's really not the right preparation for that, so I stopped. And I put it on my Roadbug, and that worked much better. Then I also found, because the other wools are such a longer staple, and just the crimp is very different, and the Merino is a shorter staple and very crimpy, it just wanted the Merino to just pop, so I just let it go. When I was drafting, I didn't fight with it, I just let the Merino go and do its thing. So that's where these big pops of color came in, is from doing that. So it's 70 yards, 1.5 ounces like I said, so it'd be a good accent or like a little cowl or something. It's not super soft because those other wools are not really, they're not Merino, you know, they're a little rougher. So I'm really not sure. It would probably make a good hat, wouldn't it? I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. I haven't spun with any of my hand spun yet. And I have, how many skeins now? Here's my, I have 5 from this year. Probably have 4 or 5 more from previously, so I haven't knit with them. So this one's done. And then I told you. This shift is not good for me. I'm spinning a loop bump on the Traveler, and I got quite a big hunk of it done already. You can see I can stick my hand right in the center of it now. It's empty. So this is what's left, and it's gorgeous loop bump as usual. I didn't really want to pull the bobbin off, even though it's separate from the bump, but I don't like fiddling with it when I'm in the middle of spinning something, so you'll see it soon, because I hope to be finished soon. So I'm just going to spin this up is a fairly fine single, not super fine, but a fairly fine single, and then Navajo ply it back on itself for a 3-ply. Then I am doing a new to me technique that is now finally, after several days, starting to click and work well, and it's called ply on the fly. And what that means is, while you're spinning, you spin a length of the single and then you ply it back on itself. And I'm using some Into the World fiber that I split up. The colorway, I pulled out one section and separated them both out. And so this one's green and purple. And then I have like a purple and orangey red. That's the other half. But I figured also I'm not going to fit all 4 ounces on this tiny little spindle. I could probably fit 2 because I've fit 1.5 before. I fit this on this spindle before. So I know I can fit at least 1.5 too. So it's going quite well. So it's a Navajo ply. And that's how much I've got done so far. And it's gotten much better since I started. Just going to continue on with that one. So that's one of my Tour de Fleece projects. Another one is that little turtle I just showed you. I'm spinning up white fiber to apply with that. So that's what I got of the white. And this does not look as big as that other one yet, so I'm just going to keep going until they look similar and hope I have enough yards of each one to ply against each other. And then I have supported spindling. So I have a bunch of support spindles now. Yeah, you heard me right. I bought a bunch of support spindles. And I've been working on those. So the other thing I found at Joann's that I was just talking about a minute ago was this cool storage box. Because I kept trying to find somewhere to put my support spindles where they wouldn't get damaged. And I do have some plastic storage drawers behind me, but I don't like throwing them in there because there's a bunch of other stuff in there. So I found this storage box and it works perfectly for them. Probably not going to be able to tip this so you can see. Maybe. So the one I've been using, oh, plus I can put my roll eggs in there and they won't get squashed. The one I've been using primarily is this one, which I got recently in a de-stash, which means that somebody was selling it from their stash. They no longer wanted it or didn't use it and wanted to pass it on. So I purchased this one and I love it. And this is the one that finally got it to click for me. And it's a gorgeous spindle. So I've been spinning on that one quite a bit and it's going quite well. I'll see how it works. I might even do a quick little clip of me spinning and put it in so you can see what it looks like on a support spindle. The other one I got recently, this is called a lap bowl because you can put this in between your legs and hold it, and it's gorgeous. And this is the spindle that goes with it. This is a Tibetan spindle. The other one was kind of a Russian. It's not really a traditional Russian, but... And those are the new ones. The other new one I got, this is from Hip Strings. And it's a Tockley, and it's got a dragon on it. I hope you can see it. And the reason this has cork on it is because these points are super, super sharp. It came with the cork, which is awesome. And I got the matching bowl for that one. So, I got this bowl. And I have not even used it yet. So I've been busy practicing with the other one. So I'm very happy with my find here, though, with the box, because that works perfectly to store them. And that's all my spinning so far. The other thing for spinning, we don't have any scrolls today, but I do have testaments, which is the new section, which is product and other knitting related thing reviews. So, by way of Stitchcraft marketing, Fairmount Fibers, which is the US distributor of Manos del Uraguay, sent me this gorgeous braid of extra fine merino in the colorway Dragon. How perfect was that? So I have this, and I just quickly did up a sample to see what I wanted to do with the braid. And I'm really ill prepared. I had a whole bunch of stuff I was supposed to prepare, and then all of a sudden I was like, ooh, it's 4:30. I should get recording. And never even did the rest of the stuff I was supposed to do. So one of the things I wanted to do was measure the staple length of the fiber. So one way, if you spin and you're a newer spinner and you're unsure how to do this, I don't recommend you pull out a fiber to measure the staple length. How you can tell is, if I put my hands here and I pull, this is not pulling apart. So the staple length is clearly longer than this. So I'll just back off a little bit. It's still not pulling apart, so it's got to be at least as long as this. And I'll back off a little more. It's still not pulling apart. And then a little bit more, and it's just barely starting to pull apart. So I'm going to guess the staple length is about here. So I'm going to measure that. This is like 4 inches. Yeah, that's definitely not pulling apart. So the staple length of this extra fine merino is at least 4 inches, if not a little bit more, because that's just barely pulling apart right now. So that's got to at least be a staple length. And what I did was I just quickly pulled a hunk off the end of the braid, and I would like to divide it into thirds and do a traditional 3-ply. What I did to sample it is I did like a Navajo ply, just because I didn't want to switch whirls or have to put a sample on 3 bobbins and, do all this stuff. And I was just practicing what I would like to do with the fiber, how much to draft, how much to twist, and everything like that. And I found a good spot that I liked. I would like it a tiny bit thicker, but right there, let me see if I can hold this so you can actually see it. There we go. Right there is how I would like it to ply, and just a tiny bit thicker. So now that I've sampled it, I know how much I should draft in and how quickly I should draft it and everything like that to make it be what I want it to be. So I will start spinning that up soon. And I looked up Manos del Uraguay, and my high school and college Spanish serves me well still, because Manos means hand. As you can see from their logo, it's a hand. And what it is a cooperative. So there's a lot of women in Uruguay that have been provided business opportunities, as well as it was the first like preschool kind of a thing, because these women who never had business opportunities or jobs now needed a place for childcare. So also some preschools and things were developed from this. They started in the 80s, I believe. Might have even been late 70s. Like I said, I was preparing and didn't actually take notes. And it's a cooperative, so these women actually own their little part of the business, and they can make the fibers, spin the yarns, and do all kinds of stuff like that. Dye the yarns and everything like that. And so you're also supporting a nice, cooperative where women can actually have their own businesses, be independent, have, things that they were not able to have before. And the products are fantastic. They have yarns that are nice that I've used before. This fiber is amazing. It's super, super soft. It is merino, but it's extra fine merino. It's really soft, and it drafts beautifully. The colors are amazing. I looked online at some of their other colorways, and they're absolutely gorgeous. And as you can see, this one is just beautiful. And their dye job is excellent. This is dyed completely through. There are no white spots in this at all. And it's lovely. So check them out, especially for a tour de Fleece. This is a good opportunity and excuse to get more fiber. So Fairmont Fibers is the US distributor. They're also, I'm sure, at local yarn stores and things like that and other online shops. But I'm very pleased with this fiber, and I'm excited to get spinning on it. So maybe not the next episode, but hopefully in the very near future you will see the yarn, and then I can tell you how it washed up and everything like that. Maybe I can knit up a sample so we can see how it knits up after it's spun. But very excited about that, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I love the colorway. So that's it for Testaments, and hopefully in the future I remember to take notes. I sat there reading the whole thing and thought I took notes, and I never took notes. Hearsay. Beading tutorial is almost done. I have to finish recording the beading tutorial, and then that will be done, and edit it and everything. I thought it would be done by now, but it's not, because it's Tour de Fleece and I've been spinning every day. Let's see. Seasonal socks that I've knit along. I have more prizes coming that I have not received yet, but they are coming, so I can show you those later. And I guess I completely skipped over it, so I'll just do it now. I dyed up some more self-striping yarn. That's what I had dyed up before. So, I was hoping to have a lot more. I'm going to update the shop tomorrow or the next day probably. So I only have 4 skeins right now, but now I've got a really good process down. So I can probably do a skein or 2 even on a day that I'm working. So I hope to have more soon. This one is Neapolitan, and it's pink, white, and brown, like the ice cream. And the white is not completely white. It's over-dyed a tiny bit with the pink and the brown, so it's more of like a creamy beige. Together with the other colors, it looks white, but it is not a solid white. It's more of a little bit of a creamy color. So that's Neapolitan. And then this one is Citrus. So that's yellow, orange, and green. And then I had this one for Independence Day. I still have one of those left. And then this one is Coconut Lime. So it's brown, green, and white. And this white has a tiny tinge of green to it to soften it up a little bit. So those are the self-striping ones that I will have in the shop soon. And now we're on to Ravelry patterns. Let's see what I got here. First one is Sheep in the Meadow Pillow Cover by Carol Quinn, and it's free. And it's super cool. Check that out. And that takes Kramer Yarns Perfection Chunky, so it's a bulky weight yarn. And the next one is 4 Knitted Cats by Cass Dalmany, and it's also free. And when I first saw the picture, before I looked at the pattern page, I was like, there's no way that one's free. It is. They're so cute. I'll show you another picture of them. So they have them like, oh wait, that one's cute. There's a bunch of pictures on the pattern page. My tablet's ignoring me. Come on. I love when it just like pretends. It's like, yeah, just push a button. Look at that. Oh, it's so cute. And then the last one is not free. It's about $6 US, and it's Chewy Mittens by Teresa Sharp, and these are really cool. They're colorwork mittens. It's like Chewie from Star Wars, and then the back one, I cannot do a good Chewie impression, so I won't do it, but you can see it there. So those are your Ravelry patterns for today. I love those cats. I really have to knit up some of those. Alright. And now we are on to Delusional Jabber. So, what have I been doing? Reading. I did finish an audiobook the other day while I was spinning on the Traveler, and that was Celery Stalks at Midnight, which is one of the Bunnicula books. That's the children's. I love children's books when I'm spinning because I don't have to pay a ton of attention and they're very light and just fun. So that one was very good. That was number 3, I think, in Bunnicula. And then I'm still reading on the Kindle. I'm reading Insurgent by Veronica Roth. And then after Bunnicula, I was still spinning, so I started How to Cheat a Dragon's Curse. That's one of the How to Train Your Dragons books. I think it's number... I have no idea. It might be 4 or 5. I actually don't remember. And so that's been reading. For TV, on Netflix, I've been watching Wilfred, which I think is still on, because some of it sometimes it says new episodes, and that's with Elijah Wood. And I still have to catch up on 24, which is probably done by now. I'm caught up and still very much enjoying the Will Wheaton Project. I probably am no longer caught up on Falling Skies. I started a new one recently that's on Sci-Fi called Dominion, and that one's really good. I like that one a lot. Under the Dome is back on. And I also started another new one recently, is The Last Ship. So that one's pretty good as well. I actually fell asleep, not because of the show, because of when I was trying to take a nap yesterday, I fell asleep, so I only watched half of the first episode, so I have to get back to that. And I think that might be it for this episode, because as usual, it's very hot out today, and I've shut off the air conditioner to talk to you, and now it's getting a little steamy in here. So, I believe that's all I wanted to talk about. Again, with this work schedule, I am just like in La La Land, and I haven't done a ton, and I haven't had a lot of time, and things have been, yeah. So, yes. I will try and record a little clip of support spinning. And I'm no expert, so don't, I can just show you the mechanics of it, but I'll try and do that. I'm just spinning up some leftover Into the World on it right now. It's Superwash Merino. But yes, I think that's it for this episode. And check out Manos de Uraguay if you've never checked them out before, because they have fabulous yarns, as well as this new, fairly new, I think it came out last year, but the extra fine merino fiber. And I hope to be able to show you much more of it the next time I record and have spun some up. So, I thank you for joining me. I hope you are being successful if you're spinning in Tour de Fleece this year, and keep cool. So thanks again for joining me. Have a wonderful week. Happy knitting and spinning.